friends, I'm Rosa, welcome. So, been a little while since we had a video where we just sat down and talked about books, hasn't it? We're talking about my January TBR. I got like a ton of wrap-up videos that I still want to do, by the way. I know that they're mainly like a December thing on BookTube. Unfortunately though, I got sick and had following that I had an eye infection. So I was basically like out of commission for 10 days and then gone for 5 for Christmas. So all my working days, all my recording days were gone. They're gone. And so I'm catching up, wrapping up in January instead. We are starting this month though with a TBR video. So we're gonna talk about 8 books, I think. I have 7 physical ones and then 1 on Kindle that I want to read this month. Usually I will pick apart, no, but not pick apart. I will put away 10 books to read for the month. However, I got like several half-read books that I also want to finish here in January. Among those, we got The Wrath and the Dawn, we got The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and The Bear and the Nightingale, all read-along books that we're doing with the book club. I've just not had time, or I've been sick, or I forgot my iPad when I went to Copenhagen for Christmas. I was so sure that I had it with me. But no, unfortunately not. So we got a lot of like half books as well to read this month. So I figured 8 would be enough. Let's start out with the book club's primary pick, which I'm really excited for because I've heard so many lovely things about it. What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. And I think I have another edition in my apartment right now, actually, that I'm gonna unbox after this video. I just forgot to. Anyway, or I didn't forget to. I was gonna record it today. So it was either this video or the unboxing first. I don't know. But What the River Knows. I don't think I could, this is YA. YA fantasy and I think some historical fiction. I think it's like based in our world, but like back in the day. If I recall correctly, but I might not. As for the synopsis though, because I cannot remember this off the top of my head, Bolivian-Argentinian Inés Oliveira belongs to the glittering upper society of 19th century Buenos Aires, and like the rest of the world, the town is steeped in old world magic that's been largely left behind or forgotten. Inés has everything a girl might want, except for the one thing she yearns for the most, her globe-trotting parents who frequently leave her behind. When she receives word of their tragic deaths, Inés inherits their massive fortune and a mysterious guardian, an archaeologist in partnership with his Egyptian brother-in-law. Yearning for answers, Inés sails to Cairo, bringing her sketch pads and a golden ring her father sent to her for safekeeping before he died. But upon her arrival, the old world magic tethered to the ring pulls her down a path where she discovers there's more to her parents' disappearance than what her guardian led her to believe. With her guardian's infuriatingly handsome assistant thwarting her at every turn, Inés must rely on ancient magic to uncover the truth about her parents' disappearance or risk becoming a pawn in a larger game that will kill her. It says, The Mummy meets Death on the Nile, which I was obsessed with The Mummy when I was a kid. I am just saying. Have I read The Death on the Nile? No. Have I watched the movie? Also no. I have no idea what it's about whatsoever. But the mummy part has me hooked, okay. So yes, definitely reads like fantasy, but like set in our world, but like back in the day. I'm very excited to see I'm assuming it's Cairo. Is Cairo not in Egypt? I feel like it's in Egypt. Yes, it's in Egypt. I love second guessing myself. Anyway, can never be too sure of something, right? But I'm looking forward to the Egyptian vibes to this though. If you want to get a little bit of inspiration for what the characters look like, this Alcrate edition has some pretty nice end pages and some drama. Some drowning drama as well with a crocodile in the Nile. That rhymed and it wasn't supposed to, but hey, it's done. It happened. We're gonna move on. Anyway, I'm looking forward to reading this. Our secondary pick is Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, which is an adult fantasy with like horror vibes, Gothic, a sentient house. This is, I feel like I've just been weightlifting with that book because it's so sturdy, and this waste nothing on it. It feels like a paperback all of a sudden. So this is about our lead girl who ends up at this house working there despite like the town that she lives in. Everyone knows that this house is haunted. There's something about this house, and also the heir that currently lives in the house, a younger guy. I think his parents might not unfortunately be there anymore, but she ends up working there because she needs the money so she can take her brother and leave the town. Unfortunately, or when she gets there, it's like there's something about it that feels like home, and it feels like it has a lot of secrets. It feels like the heir as well. What's his name? Something Starling? Arthur Starling. It feels like he has a lot of secrets, and so something about this house and figuring out what those secrets are. But also she has to confront her family's past as well in the process, in the story. See, I don't really know where this is going, but Sentient House sounds so interesting. At least I hope it was a connection with this book that I heard Sentient House. I'm pretty sure about that on Illumicrate's Discord server, because this is an Illumicrate edition. So I'm excited though. Wouldn't mind some horror vibes for January. It's a dark month. It's snowing outside. It's snowing all day. I'm stuck indoors. Let's read about horrific houses. Let's do it. And then we have As Good as Dead. So this is one of my, by Holly Jackson. Yes. So this is one of my 24 for 2024 books. I'm starting out like quick with that list because I did not nail it in 2023. We'll talk about that a little bit later this month, I promise. Even if I do have to confront the fact that I am a bit of a failure. But we're starting out strong with the list in 2024. So there's a couple of the books on that list in my TBR. One of them is As Good as Dead. This is the third book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And I loved the other two, especially, well, I wouldn't say especially. I loved both the first and the sequel, but probably the first one a little bit more than the sequel. So I'm excited to see where this goes though. It's a little bit thicker than the other ones. And I'm so excited to hang out with Pippa again because I love her. I love her so much. But essentially Pippa she's a, what would you call it? High school student, but like in the UK, whatever that's called. I don't know school systems outside of Denmark, and that's okay. For her summer project, she decides to write about a case that has been considered solved in the town. It's like it took place in the town that she's from, in the area that she's from, with people that she knows. A girl was murdered by a guy who then later ended up unaliving himself. And so there was a whole case on this. Everyone's considering it solved, but Pippa is like, something's off about it. I'm gonna solve this mystery and figure out what actually happened. And so she decides to do that, and she does. But in the process of like figuring things out, a lot of stuff happens. She starts getting threats. People have nasty secrets and a whole lot more. The sequel is not even about that. So I don't know where we're going with the third one, but I'm excited to get into it. Oh, she has a stalker. Well, this will be fun. So speaking of stalkers, the one Kindle book that I'm planning on reading, I can't tell you what it's about though, because I don't know. I just figured I needed to, you know, read a couple of super hyped books in January. So I've had Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton on my iPad for I think like 2 years or something like that, and I keep pushing off reading it. Everyone's talking about it currently, and they kind of like, it comes in waves. So they'll talk about it, it'll die down for a little bit, then they'll talk about it again on social media, but I feel like this time the wave has kind of like finally gotten to me, so I'm gonna read that in January. If I'll be disturbed or entertained or possibly both, like I don't know, because I don't really know what it's about, but I feel like from what I've heard, the impression that I've gotten is that it's kind of like either or. Some people have been incredibly disturbed, some people just find it very entertaining, some people love Zaid, is that his name? Some people can't freaking stand him. We'll see what camp I fall into once I start it, but the plan is to read it in January, so yes. And then speaking of hyped books as well, this one I'm really excited about, but also super nervous. Also on my 2024 list, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is, I forgot to say genres for the other books. As Good as Dead is YA contemporary mystery. Haunting Adeline is dark romance, I think. I don't know. This is what I would possibly call new adult fantasy, but also let's just call it adult. Kind of romantasy, but also, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, that you don't have to agree with, pretty heavy on the fantasy. Am I gonna sit here and say that it's high fantasy? Definitely not. But is it entertaining? Yes, it is. It's very entertaining. At least the first one, which is Fourth Wing. This has been so hyped, and I am so nervous. But I'm so ready to get into this. We'll possibly buy the Kindle version instead of reading this one because this is the Waterstones edition, and I am clumsy, but also I like lying in bed with my Kindle, and like I got a remote for Christmas that I can now just press on so I can just like lie completely still instead of flipping a page. Lazy reading is the best reading, you know, so we're probably gonna do that. But as for Fourth Wing though, because I cannot tell you, I can't tell you. Spoilers. But in Fourth Wing, we follow Violet, who is, well, she was supposed to be a scribe at this school that she's attending. But, so she's basically prepared her whole life to become a scribe. But at the last minute, her mom is like, never mind, psych, you're going to be a dragon rider. Good luck. Because most of the students who take or go through the trials to become a dragon rider don't actually make it through the trials, as in like they stop breathing at some point in dramatic ways, not just like stop breathing, you know what I mean. So Violet is like, well, that's suspicious, but okay, I'm gonna go through the trials then. And so she does, and it is hard. It's a lot of work. Things are not easy for Violet. She is small, as in short, and like petite, which is not a very typical thing for dragon riders to be, because they have to be strong to sit on top of dragons and ride dragons, and she's not built for it, she's not trained for it, and she's having a hard time. At the same time, there's a lot going on like behind the scenes, something about rebels, rebel history, something about these creatures with too many powers, and there's a lot going on. The school, I feel, at least, people are sus at this school. Definitely sus. So we'll see what happens in the sequel. I'm excited, but also nervous, but also excited. I don't know. I'm both nervous for the content in this, but also nervous for will I enjoy it? You know, like it's a bit of both. But hopefully it'll be a good time. Then we have one that I've actually gotten as an ARC as well, so I really need to read it. We have Salt Kiss by Sierra Simone. This is an adult romance. I think it's Mark and Tristan, I think. From there, it's a fast fall into the forbidden for all three of them. Who is the third? Oh, there might be a third and it's a girl. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Do I fully know what this is about? No. Falling in love with a husband and his wife. Torture. I'm excited. That sounds dramatic. Like, I'm so ready for the drama. The pining. The drama and the pining. And a little bit of extra, you know, Sierra Simone. So, she has a very, like, I saw something. You don't... You know when you ever flip through books like this and you just catch like one word? I just did that twice. Anyway, I'm very excited for this. This is gonna be fun. But Sierra Simone's writing is like, her prose is very flowy and beautiful, which is not necessarily a contrast to what she's writing. It's just that there tends to be a lot of smut in this, and it's quite interesting, I would say. Like, it's not just straight up smut. It's like, I don't, it always has like a twist of something. I don't know how to explain this. I'm excited for it though. I read the first two, American Princess and American Prince, I think. I'm still missing American King, but I enjoyed those two books so much, so we'll see where this takes me, but or where this goes, but I'm very, very excited. We'll be having a good time with this. We'll probably binge it in like no time, because that's a tendency I have when it comes to romance. You start them and then suddenly you're done. Like, I don't get it. Then we have, oh, I'm so excited for this, but I do have to finish the first book again for the second time before I go into this one. But The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. I did mention that I was still reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night, so we're finishing up that one first. But I'm so ready. I am so ready. I loved the first book. It was, if not a 5 stars, then very close to. I can't remember exactly what I gave it. I think it might possibly have been a 5. And so this is another one of those, like, I'm a little bit nervous for both the content and also the entertainment value, because I like the characters and I hope nothing too bad happens to them. Like, can't put them in a bubble, but also please don't kill them. So nothing too bad, okay? Nothing too bad. But at the same time, I'm like, what if it's not good? You know, like it's a struggle. So anyway, in The Serpent and the Wings of Night, we follow Oriah. I'm sorry, I keep mixing up her and Tisana a little bit, like name-wise. But we follow Oriah, who is the only human living among vampires, and she's technically like the adopted daughter of the vampire king. It's all very interesting. There's different like districts and clans, I want to say, for the vampires in this series, so I can't recall if he's like the leader of all of them. I do think so, but reading the book right now I still can't remember. I think so though. It's just that it seems like so much. But anyway, she's super tired of being like fragile among all of these like very, very dangerous vampires. And so she decides to partake in this competition that is run by a goddess, and the winner of the competition ends up getting a lot of power. So she's like, if I win this competition against all these vampires, I'll have these powers and I'll never again have to feel afraid. I will never again have to fear for my life. I will feel powerful. And so she partakes in it. Unfortunately, things are tough. It's not easy being a human in a competition filled with very powerful vampires, very strong, ruthless vampires that kind of like sometimes get lost to their instincts a little bit. And so she has to team up with this guy at some point. And, you know, chemistry and ... But the competition is also super dangerous, and will they both make it out of there? I don't know. And so we'll see. What was his name? Rain? I think it might be Rain. You would pronounce that Rain and not Ryan, right? Oh my god, is it Ryan? I'm gonna call him Rain. Anyway, I'm excited. So this is like, again, new adult romantasy, badass female character with stabby abilities. Stabby powers? No. Stabby capabilities. She's kind of stabby, okay? Anyway, we love this series. I'm super excited. And lastly, I feel like I flew through those books. I flew through those books. But lastly, this one is... I don't know. I'm so nervous. I'm like playing with my nerves this month, aren't I? Yeah, it's fine. We're gonna be reading The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber because I kept putting it off the entire last year. And the 3rd book is on its way to me right now, so I literally have no excuse anymore. And so I can read this, and if I love it, which I probably will, I will be able to jump right into the next one, the 3rd book, the last book in this trilogy. It's just that I'm very nervous. I loved the 1st book. I love Evangeline, but I also really love Jax as a character. I think Jax is he is my favorite character from the Caraval trilogy. I think he's very interesting. And so was very excited when it was announced that she was gonna write a book featuring him as one of the main characters. It's always difficult when you have like side characters that are suddenly turned into main characters, because oftentimes side characters tend to be like caricatures or like a little bit like exaggerated in some way. But I think she managed really, really well with Jax. But he's very interesting as a side character too. So anyway, not to go off on a tangent, but it happened. We're moving on. In Once Upon a Broken Heart, we follow Evangeline Fox, who is desperately in love with this guy that unfortunately is for some reason marrying her sister. Things are not great for Evangeline, as you can probably tell. Like, it's tough. That would suck so bad. Anyway, so she decides to make a deal with the Prince of Hearts, Jax, who's... You should probably think twice before making a deal with Jax. But Evangeline is desperate. And so when the deal doesn't really go the way Evangeline hoped that it would, yeah, no, things are not, it's not good. It sucks. And somehow she ends up at a ball. Like, I can't remember what the transition there is, but she ends up at this like northern place, I think it is, at the ball, and there's a prince who's suddenly very interested in her. And all this time as well, Evangeline's background is being questioned because she has rose gold hair. That was a very disjointed summary, but that's all I got for you, okay? I need to remind myself of the first book a little bit before I go into this one, I think. Oh, it's signed! I have a signed book by Stephanie Garber. That's very cool. Anyway. So I'm very, very excited to be reading one of my 2023 books in 2024. But I think I also put it on my 2024 list because I didn't make it in 2023. And we gotta read this one. So it's happening this month. Am I already behind on my TBR? Yes. I'm reading a whole other book right now that has nothing to do with my TBR, and that's on me. But I will get to it, okay? As soon as I finish that book, we're starting the TBR. That's all I got for you guys today though, so let me know if you read the books. Let me know your thoughts on them. Good or bad, would love to hear you out. I will also be leaving links to all the books mentioned in the description box down below if you want to go check them out. So there'll be links to Amazon and also Waterstones. And also let me know what you guys are reading this month. Give me some inspiration. Give me some excuse to order a new book because I find it very, very interesting after you mentioned the title. Would love that, okay? So hit me up. But that is all I got for you guys today, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this from me, but also other videos like wrap-ups, a lot of wrap-ups here in January. Possibly a reorganization of my bookcases because I didn't get to do that in December either. There'll be a bookshelf tour following. We got bookish unboxings as well, a lot of those. So if that's of any interest, consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button. However, I'm gonna leave you to it, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye! Oh, you know you're beautiful.